Hello, my name is Ben Lindsay, and myself, along with Mark, Mike, and Bonnie, were tasked with managing the inventory tracking system at Trust Franklin Press. Trust Franklin Press is a small printing company that was founded in 1908. They have fewer than 20 total staff members, so they don't have quite the resources of some larger companies, and they just moved into a new facility located in the south side of Pittsburgh. The problem as brought to us by Trust Franklin Press is a problem that a lot of companies deal with. Their physical inventory levels were not aligning well with the inventory tracked in their ERP system called PACE. That was leading to mistakes on reordering points, wasted time rectifying inaccuracies, and possible missed job deadlines. They wanted to raise their level from 65% up to around 90%. Our first course of action was to find those sources of error that were causing the difference between PACE and real life. A couple things that came to mind were the lag between when paper actually entered and left storage compared to when that was inputted into PACE, along with human errors such as forgetting to return excess paper back to the shelf or forgetting to update PACE, along with a lack of well-defined procedures on how to deal with inventory on a order-to-order basis. Our plan to reconcile those sources of error was first to develop a simulation model that we could use to test different periods between checks to see that effect on accuracy. We also wanted to redesign the physical storage and location system in PACE and in the shop floor based on 5S principles, along with creating written guidelines and procedures to ensure that the process and the inventory accuracy stay at a high level. Our simulation model looked at one type of digital paper, which we could then extrapolate to other inventory items. And we made some assumptions, including at most one arrival per state, since the time interval is short enough that that would be true. We are interested in 1/4 of production, but we simulated out to 200 days to give a little bit of wiggle room. And we assumed that the error that we used was normally distributed. Based on the results of our simulation model, we determined that bi-weekly checks would be needed to maintain a 90% accuracy level over the course of a quarter, at which point accuracy levels would go back up to 100 with the full quarterly check. We also used 5S principles to reduce the human error. That included a labeling system for each inventory item, a new location system both on the shelves themselves and in PACE that gave a designated location to each item and helped create locations for inventory items that do not have a normal home on the shelves. Along with that, we created guidelines, which I'll talk about next. We worked with Trust Franklin Press to create and edit procedures for receiving and releasing paper and finished goods, along with creating guidelines on inventory handling and inventory checking. Here's an example of one of the procedures that we put together with the help of Trust Franklin Press. It goes through receiving house or job stock papers, breaking down what to do if it is either type, and it creates a set of rules that can be followed and repeated as time goes forward. And here's an example of a guideline we put together on inventory handling that just goes through different things such as what to do with surplus stock when you order for a job and you don't use all the paper that you ordered, or what to do if you spot any unused paper sitting around a workstation. Lastly, we made some alterations to the process itself on how TFP updates PACE through the process of an order and job. We added in these yellow blocks right here. That is essentially a check right as the order is received from the customer to check whether PACE matches reality, and if it doesn't, to update PACE to match the real life paper situation. We felt that this was easier than doing full counts either weekly or bi-weekly. And it's a quick way to keep PACE up to date. Trust Franklin Press has begun implementing some of these changes over the course of the last couple months, and it's already seen significant improvement. Their error percentage on their digital stock, as you can see on the left, has dropped down to 1% or below, and their accuracy percentage on all their items is up around 90% for the most part. Our primary recommendations for Trust Franklin Press are to maintain the system that they've been using, whether that be the location system that was implemented, the procedures and guidelines, and the checks by order. Long term, we would like them to keep going with their continuous improvement, making processes better and revising procedures to meet practical needs. Finally, we would like to thank our PIT mentors, the people at Trust Franklin Press and Catalyst Connection, for making this project a success.